Hello everyone, welcome back to Pwn TV. Today I'm going to be showing you the deck list that I brought to my local tournament. This is the same deck that I've been playing in Orlando, PPG event, and at my local shop for weeks now. This is the same deck that I run on Octagon almost all the time. I really like it. It's blue-yellow SS4. I call it SS4 Bananas because the deck just plays a lot of yellow guys that just get there, and the synergy that all of these cards have together is bananas. Okay, and we're using a monkey leader, so bananas. Okay, so what this deck is designed to do is it's designed to draw itself out and then drop a bunch of cards in the drop and then swing a bunch of damage as a result of doing all of that. That's the idea for this deck, and the way that it's piloted is very grindy on the opponent's hand. You're really grinding out all of your turns to dump as many cards from your opponent's hand defensively as you can, and then on their turn is rather weak. And you have so many answers to what they're trying to do on their turn that you really don't care about their turn at all. You just care about untapping and playing your hand again. And so basically it's like you're playing solitaire, really. I mean, you don't really care about what the opponent's trying to do. So this ape, when he swings at a leader, he gets to draw one. When he awakens, he gets to stand up 2 energy. One of our win conditions is this Vegeta here. He basically says, I'm going to tap 4, play this card, draw 1, stand up in energy, and then after that, I can awaken, but I can activate main and take 2 life cards, and then maybe my life is 4 or less at that point. I can awaken my leader now. So then I'm standing up 2 more energy, so Vegeta only costs 1 on your awaken turn. That's really strong because you can play Senzu Beans and untap that last one and play more Vegetas, and then you can take more life and kill more stuff and have more triple strike threats for the turn. Not much they can do about that, guys. Really not. I mean, 2 Vegetas in the same turn followed up by like your win condition Mira, that kills them. But you really only need 1 Vegeta and 1 Mira to kill them. Typically, that's 4 damage. Sometimes you need 5. You can give Mira double strike. There you go. And that's 5 damage. So you have a real easy way to deal 5 damage in 1 turn. You can deal more than that, but typically you're only trying to get 4 or 5 damage for your turn with this deck. So your leader, basically what they do is they try to awaken, and when they're awakened, they have the critical 5k pump for the turn. The permanent on this card says when your life is equal to or less than your opponent's, then you get plus 5,000 power on your turn, and you get critical on your turn. So this card is a 20k crit on your turn if you meet those requirements, and the deck is designed to put the life at whatever it needs to be, so you're able to always have the 20k crit. And this 20k crit threat is really scary to them. This is what's going to be taking all of the cards out of their hand and getting them down to a low hand size to where your win conditions cannot be out comboed. Basically, that's what you're trying to do. When they say no negates on that leader swing, you say 10x Kamehameha. Now it has 15k power boost and double strike. This card says 1 yellow, 15k power boost on my Goku's lineage leader, and also double strike on my Goku's lineage leader. Hello, Goku's lineage leader. Okay, so this is a Saiyan Goku's lineage, Son Goku GT. Lots of cards in the game right now can affect those traits, and this 10x Kamehameha is a solid card in this deck. Most people play more than one. I don't see the need. I draw so many cards with this list that I don't care about not seeing this card. I can simply give it double strike with a Furthering Destruction Champa if I need to, and it's only 5k less power, but on the upside I can tap any color energy I want for that, and this one I actually do have to tap a yellow. Also, to be noted, Combo Killer Laza is a card, so 10x Kamehameha gets around that since it's not a combo, it's an activate battle, but the Furthering Destruction Champa is a combo card, so you would have to pitch a card to satisfy the conditions on Combo Killer Laza, for example. But no, the deck has answers to that card built in. 10x Kamehameha, Senzu Bean, these are cards that don't have a combo cost. They're not combo cards, they're activate battle cards, so it gets around cards like Combo Killer Laza. So in general, the deck is basically trying to play these Martial Meisters as early as possible and tap them and distract the opponent. Since they're 6k power, it makes things awkward for the opponent. Even if the opponent combos up to 20,000 when they're swinging at this 6k guy, you can say, I'm going to spend 1 Prodigal Dynasty Son Goten from my hand. My yellow battle card is being attacked. I'm going to give it a 10,000 power boost on top of the 5,000 combo power boost that I'm giving it. So for 0 energy, it gets 15,000 power for the duration of the turn. It gets 10,000 of that. But for the duration of the battle, it gets the 10 plus the 5, making it a 21. 21 is indeed higher than 20, which they're not going to really go higher than 20 in the early game, so the Prodigal Dynasty is a solid play for you. You can also tutor it out with Successor of Hope since it's a swap card, so you could just grab it when you know they're going to swing at your Marshall Meister, and you even if you show it to them, they're not even going to consider it. They're just going to make the 20,000 power or 15,000 power boost, and then swing at your Roshi or Yushin, and you're just going to blow them out with this Prodigal Dynasty. It's a solid play. It shits on them. All right. Other cards that you have that you can get with Successor include your super combos, for example. That's really strong. This is a 4-drop swap card. It has swap 5 on it for 4 energy, so it satisfies. It's a legal target to Successor of Hope, so you can just grab it off that. Super good to grab your super combo off of a Successor of Hope, no problem. And you're filling up your drop with that card and thinning out your deck and maybe unshuffling it if you maybe started stacking good cards to the bottom with your Gotens. Maybe you don't want them on the bottom, you just shuffle your deck. Now you've unstacked it, so you can draw into the cards that you put on the bottom a lot sooner, potentially, if you do this. Objection, just to get to the late game, maybe you charge a Whisa's Coercion, you play the Objection, you look at your hand and you're like, okay, well, I've drawn a bunch of cards this turn with my Marshall Meisters, my Leader Swing, and maybe my Goten swings, so now I'm going to play the Objection. I have a lot of cards that I could consider charging. So the last thing you want to do on your turn is this, if possible. You don't want to do this early because you want to see as many cards as possible so you know what the best charge might be. And then the last turn you have, the last play that you have for the turn is going to be Objection, and then drop the color that I need to defend with, or maybe it's a Senzubean play that I'm going to follow up with, and then actually untap more energies, for example. There's a lot of ways to use Objection in this deck. It's a great card. You should definitely use it. The 2 energy that you pay into the Objection gets stood back up when you awaken your leader. You stand up 2 energy. And you have Beans as well to stand up energies, so there's no reason not to run this card. It gets you the 5 energy that you need for the Vegeta play on turn 4, so that alone is enough reason to run it. You're like, turn 4, I still have 5 or more energies on turn 4, so I get the full benefit of using at all cost Vegeta for 4 energy. The full benefit. I'm not nerfed on turn 4 like I would be if I didn't run Objection. So Objection's a solid card in the deck. Definitely a solid card. Works very nicely with the rest of the cards that we have in the list. Okay? Now, to stall out, to get to the turns that you need to actually play the Vegeta and the Mira and potentially win the game, you actually need some negates. So you have negates in the form of Force of Will. Force of Will in the Magic card game is basically a card that says counter the attack and take a life for doing it. Alright, so that's what you're doing. But on top of that, in this game, when you take the life, it just doesn't go... In Magic, you're just taking a life. You're not gaining a card when you do that. You go from 20 to 19, and that's it. You have your life total written down on a dice or something, and then you're at your -1 life, okay? In this game, when you take a life, you put that life in your hand. So instant transmission is like Force of Will plus drawing a card. All of that on one card for like nothing. For nothing, you can do this. And that's it. And that's what this card does. So it nets you a card out of your life. It replaces itself by doing that. And it's free to cast. So I can just do this whenever I'm tapped out and the opponent's not going to see it coming. And if I'm at 5 or 6 life and I have multiple instant transmissions in hand, you bet your ass that I'm going to start tapping these Marshall Meisters just to make the opponent swing at them. And when the opponent does swing at them, I redirect the damage to my leader anyway. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to take a life and negate. So it's like you swung at my leader and I took a life. But I'm keeping my tapped battle cards in play. You're not going to be able to get past them. It's too bad. So sad. This is going to be way strong for you. All of these that you can just simply play one after the other and stop them from swinging at these guys. On top of that, you have the Prodigals to defend them with. There's a lot of ways to defend your Marshall Meisters in this deck, and also your Gotens. But you really don't even care about your Gotens, let's be honest. You really care about these Marshall Meisters because they're hilarious. Look at the artwork. Who doesn't want to have these cards in play for as long as fucking possible? This is a great card to keep in play to tilt your opponent. There's nothing they can do about it. It's just so awkward to fight this card, and their fallback plan is like all the negates in the entire game. Like, you're just not going to be able to deal with it. It's just so annoying. This card wins games, though. It draws you so many cards. It's so precious. You want to keep these cards in play. Typically, you only need one of each copy, and if you know that you can win the game with what else you have in hand, you don't really want to play more than one. You just charge the extras, but some games it's better to have 2 of each copy in play, so maybe that's what you do. In some matches, you just play 2 Roshis and 2 Shins, and then you charge the rest. But all night tonight, I had no problem playing with just 1 of each in play. And the only game I lost was the game that I did not see them, so that was unfortunate, and that was the reason why I lost, I'm pretty sure of it. But the games that I did see them, I only needed 1 of each of the Marshall Meisters, and I was able to raffle stomp them. There's nothing they can do about it. And here's why. My ultimate win condition in the deck is Rikuma Racer Gun. Now let me talk to you briefly about what this card can do. This card works with any color leader, but the way that this card is printed, it only works completely with a yellow leader. So the first line, if you're leader card is yellow, negate the attack. That obviously only works if your leader card is yellow. After that, though, it doesn't care what color your leader is. It simply says afterwards, for the 4 energy you paid for this card, you didn't negate because your leader's not yellow, but after that failed negate, the opponent's battle cards are unable to attack for the duration of the turn. And let's be honest, guys, that's the only reason you play this card. The only reason you play this card is because you can go, I don't know what I'm going to do for my turn 4, so I'm just going to tap my Marshal Meisters to draw cards, and then after that I'm going to swing leader to draw more cards, and then I'm probably swinging Gotenks to draw more cards, and then you know what, I'm going to keep 4 energy open and pass turn to you. And they're going to be like, okay, do some stuff. And then you're like, no! You're like, no, you don't do anything. You lose your turn here. Okay, is it my turn yet? Oh, it is? Well, why is that? You can't swing anymore? Oh, you can't, that's right, because Rikuma Razor Gun says, fuck your turn! So Time Walk! You get Time Walked when I play this card, and I just go ahead and untap and take my next turn. Like, fuck's given, right? So this card blows people out. This is what wins me almost all of my matches. I just simply have this card, and I win so many games with this card that I definitely have 4 copies in the deck, and I'm not changing that. This deck is a Rikuma Razor Gun deck. This deck is basically just like, you know what? I'm just gonna flip the table for you and take my turn. Okay, alright, there you go. And you got an answer to what I'm trying to do? Oh, well, I main deck 2 Battering Lasers, possibly 3. I might bump it up to 3 again. I liked it when I was at 3. But in this list I ran tonight, I only ran the 2, and, you know, I liked 2. 2 was good, but there were some games where I needed to see the second one, and if it's stuck in my life, that's gonna really suck for me. So 3 Bad Rings is probably better than 2. You might cut one of these black Overwhelm cards. This is a donkey card anyway, nobody likes this card. You could maybe do that for the 3rd Bad Ring Laser. That's probably what I would do. Or maybe an objection, but that's risky. I think I like 3 objections. Anyway, look at all the negates, you guys. There's really nothing they can do. They're gonna just get negated. With this deck, they're just gonna get negated. You're gonna just draw cards without tapping any energy, so you could always Rikuma Razor Gun. And you know what? If you need to Rikuma Razor Gun and also stop their leader swing follow-up, because this doesn't affect leader swings, if they're gonna swing lead, well, that's simple. You just, after having tapped out for the Eraser Gun, you just pay 1 life and instant transmission, or you just don't even care and take the damage. But if they're trying to swing at like one of your Roshis or Shins and you don't want to lose that draw pressure you have, then you just redirect to your leader and say, fuck's given, my turn, GG, and that's all you have to do. And so, like, this is a huge negate package that you have access to when you play this deck, and it works quite nicely because you're drawing so many cards to get these cards that you need. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And on the turn that you're trying to win with, it gets really spicy. You have the ability to untap 1 when you play a Vegeta. So it draws you a new card and untaps 1 energy of your choice. You do get to see the card you draw before you choose what energy to untap, so you can make a decision a little bit more wisely with this card, if you're careful. So you look at your hand after you draw that card and you're like, oh, I really need a blue untapped right now. Oh, I need a yellow untapped right now. That's fine. Oh, it doesn't even matter, so I'll just untap this black or whatever. So you can do whatever you need to, but you have the extra information when you play this card. And you get to awaken after you get to 4 life. Well, this card is designed to get you to 4 life, right? It says take 2 life cards and put them in your hand for the activate main effect. That's gonna awaken you. It's definitely awakening you when you do this, and so you're going to be able to awaken your leader and then stand up 2 more energies, therefore Vegeta only costed 1, so that's fantastic. And then it's triple strike, 38,000, potentially more than that, plus combos, and it's triple strike? Like, that hurts. They're going to take some damage, or they're going to lose their hand. But the deck is designed to actually make them lose their hand. When you're tied 4 life to 4 life, you say critical double strike with 10x Kamehameha, or with Furthering Destruction Champa, and you pump a few 10Ks onto it, and it's like 60k double strike crit. And they're like, well, fuck. I have to literally spend my entire hand to not lose 2 life cards to the drop area, or I'm gonna lose the game. And that's true. You do have to do that. So this is a win-win for me. I either win if you take the crit damage, because it's double crit, or I win because you defended against the double crit, and you lost your entire hand in the process. And then I can simply say, Vegeta, triple strike, and then I can simply say, single or double strike, depending on if I use Furthering Destruction Mirror on this guy, or Furthering Destruction Champa on this Mirror, then it's like, yeah, infinite damage, double strike. Oh, you got a negate for that? Well, I happen to main deck 2 Bad Rings, so have fun with this list. This list is gonna shit on you. It's easily gonna do 4 to 5 damage in 1 turn, and that's pretty much all you have to do to win any game of Dragon Ball Super in the meta right now, is just deal 4 or 5 damage in 1 turn. That is uncontested, there's nothing they can do about it, and you just win, alright? And of course, last but not least, this this Bardock simply in the deck. It's just in the deck because Universe 7 Frieza sucks, and it's in Perfect Cell from the Cell Chain combo also sucks, and this card can kill any number of 6-drop or higher. So like, if there's a Fringe deck I get matched up against that happens to have a bunch of 6-drops in play for whatever reason, then I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll blow them out for 0. 5 Overwhelm, and then done. 0 energy gets rid of all of their threats. And if they're playing the U7 Frieza, then I don't take nearly as much life with my negates taking life to negate. That really sucks. Taking life on top of taking life with Activate Mana on the Vegeta, that really sucks. So I can't play if Universe 7 Frieza's out, so I could just blow out Universe 7 Frieza like this, for 0. And then I can maybe even hardcast Mira after that. So it's like I could still play my Overwhelm win condition, and it doesn't need to be overwhelmed to have the auto effect. Read it, it doesn't. It simply says when this card attacks. I can hardcast this with 7 energy. I play objections, dude. I can easily get to 7 energy, or 8, or however many I need to be. And then hardcast this guy if I've already overwhelmed for the turn, and that's still kills you, alright? So lots of ways to play this deck, very fun. Again, flex area in the form of the Bardocks. These could be Time Magics in set 5. That's a really strong card to add to this list. It would definitely shit on a lot of the matches that I played against tonight. Let's talk about those matches. So the first match that I played against was Dragon Ball. This is a leader, the starter deck leader from basically set 5. So this card's going to be okay to play. Definitely after the set 5 is released, which is tomorrow or today, whatever. And so this guy was running the typical red build of the Dragon Ball list. So this basically what this guy does is when he awakens, he basically says, okay, I'm going to give any card that I want triple attack for the turn, which means they can untap and swing again, and they can do that again after that. So they get to attack 3 different times. So this card gives this card triple attack. So this is a triple striker, and it has triple attack. Well, it's not in a deck with a red leader, so the permanent effect is ignored because the errata on this card only works with red leaders on the permanent effect. So the permanent effect would say that if this card's power is 40,000 or greater, then your opponent may not activate counter. Well, it's gonna always be 40,000 or greater, but in this deck, you don't have a red leader. So the errata specifically says if your leader card is a red Saiyan, then you can do this. Okay, so that's basically the errata on this card. It might not even be red Saiyan. I think it's red leader card, but it could possibly be. Somebody said it was a red Saiyan leader card, so I don't know, but it definitely doesn't work with this Shenron in regard to it not being counterable. Like, it can get countered if you're playing it in a Shenron deck. So that's perfect for me, because my deck is playing, what, how many counters? A lot of counters. And my deck doesn't care about battle cards that can be negated. It simply doesn't. So I beat this guy, hands down. It was quite easy. He's just like, swing my triple flash, and I'm like, Rikuma Racer Gun, and he's like, well, fuck, my leader can't even swing, so I can't even continue my turn at all, because my leader card can't attack, so Rikuma Racer Gun just shits on me, fucking A, okay, your turn, and so I take my turn, and we just kept going back and forth, where every time he wanted to make a play, I said, Rikuma Racer Gun, play a Goten, draw one of the top 3, it's a Rikuma Racer Gun, pulled it to hand, okay, let's keep doing this until one of us decks out, it's probably gonna be you, or you might simply just go to 1 or 2 and die to my Mira, infinite damage, possibly double strike. So that was an easy win for me. He definitely did not see the Rikuma Racer Gun being a thing, because he had not seen my deck before, but most of the shop knew about this combo, and he was like one of a handful of people that actually didn't know about it. And so it was very unfortunate for him, because he was playing like he normally would, expecting them not to play Eraser Gun, which nobody does, but this deck has 4 in it, so he cannot anticipate every card in the game. This is just one of those rogue cards that you just can't anticipate, and it shits on you. So that was an easy win for me. A bit challenging, but mostly easy. And so the game 2, this is the game that I actually lost today. It was against another set 5 card, Sorbet, which turns in to this badass Frieza Resurrected Emperor. This card's really strong. I actually want to play this deck in set 5. It looks quite promising, even with a list very similar to the one you see in front of you. I could maybe play something like that, and then put a set 5 spin on it and put it in this Resurrected Emperor deck, and it would be pretty fantastic, I would think. And so I really liked this leader, and I was excited playing against it, because I knew what the win conditions were in the deck already, so I already had the upper hand, whereas most of the opponents this guy probably had no clue what this deck was playing. I actually studied this deck already, so I already kind of knew what was coming. But unfortunately, I never did see my Martial Meisters in the early game when it was relevant, so I was not able to keep my hand size up against this player. And every time he would do this combo, which is very typical in the set 5 Shinron deck, he plays this guy basically for free, and you basically get fucked. Your hand is just like, well, I'm just going to play whatever you want me to play in tapped mode. That really sucks, because like you could play my Double Strikers, you could play my Mira, you could play my Vegeta, and it's just like, well, I mean, that sucks. But I'm not really even sure if I get the auto when you play my Vegeta. I might get the auto for playing the card, but even if I don't, even if I do, it doesn't matter. Like, when you play this guy, and you're just like, yeah, play your Vegeta tapped, it's like, okay, it doesn't even really matter what happens at this point. My Vegeta's tapped, he's probably gonna die before I can even untap and use him, so that really blows me out. So this deck was really, really strong against my deck, mostly only because I did not have the Martial Meisters in play, for any long period of time, long enough period of time anyway, to actually draw enough cards to keep up with what this guy was trying to do. So it was really my deck shitting on myself, I would say. I feel like I could have easily beat this leader if I had kept a better hand, or if I drew into better cards in that particular match. So that kind of sucks, but you know, that's what happens when you play a card game, right? It's random draws, so random number generator kind of fucks you, and I did lose to this guy. He simply was just able to do Clan of Terra Mecha Frieza enough times to really shit on my hand so many different turns that I was just not able to do anything, and it was just a blowout. Like, he would make me take life cards and then do it, and my life cards were battle cards I needed for the following turn, but now they're in play tapped, and so I can't even keep them. He would just kill them with another swing after that, so it was really hard for me to actually play against this guy, especially considering some of the turns that he played the Clan of Terror, I was tapped out for doing whatever I needed to do to keep up with him in the game, and I just didn't have a play. All of the cards in hand were basically dead, and that really sucked for me. So I did lose this match, but again, I think that I could easily beat this guy. If I was just a little bit more careful and had a little bit more luck, I probably could have won that match. Alright, so next, the very final match of the day. What a throwback. This leader card is such a throwback. This guy is like, yeah, you know what, I'm going to play a Universe 11 deck, and it's going to shit on the metagame right now. I don't need set 5 cards, I'll beat all the set 5 players, because I'm going to be playing Jiren, bro. And so when I awaken, look what I can do. Look what I can do when I awaken. I have Quad Strike, dude. I'm going to choose 9 of the Universe 11 cards that I definitely have in my drop area, and I'm going to warp them, and then I'm going to say Quad Strike leader for the turn. Yeah, that's what's gonna happen. So that's busted. I'm gonna steal so many wins. It's just unfortunate that it can get negated, right? Okay, well then. Alrighty then, so this card can get negated, which makes it a very easy win for a deck like mine, because my deck is just trying to negate you every turn and then kill you with Mira. So that sucked for him, but he had a win condition that was very scary, you guys. He played this against me on his turn 6. He goes, turn 6, go ahead and fucking count my drop, and I have all of the Universe 11s that I need, so I'm going to reduce the cost of this card by 6, and then I'm going to tap all 6 of my energy, which happens to be yellow. I happen to have like 8 cards in hand as well on this turn. My opponent, which would be me, has no idea what's in my hand, so for all he knows, I have a million Bad Ring Lasers, so I'm playing yellow. So the entire game, up to the point where he tapped out to play Jiren, I always assumed he had Bad Ring Laser, or Crusher Ball, or some really nuts yellow card that he could simply play if I tapped out at the wrong time and blow me out. And I played around those cards so hard for the entire game that he was able to get to the turn where he needed to play the Jiren. I was at 3. Jiren has Quad Strike on him, so he taps all 6 and he plays Jiren. Okay, Jiren's in play. Permanent effect says during battles, when this card attacks, your opponent may not activate counter or blocker. That fucks me, you guys. There's nothing I can do. At this point, I had already played all 4 of my super combos to get him down to, what was it, like 3 life? I think we were both tied at 3 life. And I was trying to get him within kill range and also get him to, like, give me enough information to know that he didn't have a Bad Ring Laser. That was my plan, you guys, was to make sure that he didn't have a Bad Ring Laser, because at the time I did not have mine to counter his. So I was just playing around his Bad Ring Laser possible plays. Turns out he wasn't even running that card. Found out later he wasn't even running that card. But I played around it so hard that he was able to just slam the Jiren in play. And that really sucked for me, because I was just like, well, that's game. Because this is 40,000, I'm at 3 life, this is Quad Strike. 40,000. You have like 5 more cards in hand. Granted, you're tapped out, so your 10Ks are probably only going to be supers if you have any left, which you might have 1 or 2 at this point. I don't remember how many he had played before then, but we had both played a lot of super combos over the course of the match. And so when he tapped out and played this, I was like, well, I just lose here, right? Because I might have 11 cards in hand, but 7 of them are negates. So it's like I only have 5 cards in hand. How many cards do you have in hand? Also 5? Oh, well, that sucks. Your battlefield's fully untapped. You can combo with them. My battlefield's fully tapped. I can't combo with shit, even though I had like 8 different 5k pumps in play. They were all tapped, and I just could not play them for combo pressure at all. So I was just like, well, this card just kills me. All he has to do is turn it sideways. I can't negate it. I've got the energy open to negate. I have a full hand. I have some 5Ks in hand, but all my supers are already gone, so I don't have any 10Ks. Definitely not. I mean, I have the Mira, but I don't want to use the Mira on this swing, right? Because that's my win condition. So I don't want to combo it away. I just have to find a way to not die to this card somehow. And I'm just like, well, he's gonna win. He's gonna fucking win with this one swing. And then he says, okay, all right, activate my leader ability. I'm gonna choose 9 cards in my warp and send in my drop and send them to my warp. Now that I got my big boy Jiren out, I don't need them in my drop anymore because that only helped me cast the Jiren. So I tapped out to cast the Jiren, and then after that I activated my leader Jiren to warp those cards out that I no longer needed in my drop. That's the right play. I'm doing it right. As the opponent, he was doing this right. And then he says, okay, this card gains Quad Strike. He also draws a card when he swings. Jiren battle card does not draw a card when he swings. So he was thinking, okay, well, I need more cards. He has 11 cards in hand. I have 5 cards in hand. I need more cards to combo as hard as I can to defeat him if he tries to like combo out of the damage that the Jiren has. So I'm going to go ahead and swing my leader first. I'm going to do this to draw the extra card. So he does this, and I'm like, okay, all right. I just, my heart was about to jump out of my fucking chest, and then he did this. He goes, I'm going to try to draw a card and potentially win the game with Quad Strike. And I was just like, I offered the handshake. I literally did. I extended my hand, and I said, good game. And he's like, did I get it? And I'm like, no, you just lost. And he's like, what? What do you mean? We're like shaking hands, and I'm like, you didn't win. I'm just letting you know you just lost the game. And then I simply said, Rikuma Racer Gun, Gerect! And so simply you can't swing the Jiren battle card now, buddy. So even though it can't be negated or blocked, guess what? You can't even swing it, because you fucking get negated on your leader swing. I hope that top deck was really good, because if it's not a battering, and by the way, it didn't even matter because you tapped out for Jiren, so this was just a blowout, you guys. I was just like, yeah, you know what? I think I'm just gonna Rikuma Racer Gun your leader swing and make you feel bad about being greedy, and then just fucking win the game because you can't swing your Jiren. It's just like, oh, well, that sucks. My battle cards are unable to attack for the duration of the turn. What's that? During battle cards when this card attacks, during battles when this card attacks, stuff happens, but I have to attack with him. But I can't, because Rikuma Racer Gun's a thing. I just can't attack with him, so I guess I just keep him standing up and pass turn to you. And I'm like, yep, you sure do. You're just gonna die now. And he definitely did. He's like, yep, I'll just take whatever damage it is, and then kill him with Mira. And that was how I won that match against that player. It was nuts. It was so strong. He just did not see it. He's like, he'd already seen a Rikuma Racer Gun, and he thought really hard that I didn't have more than 2 copies in the deck. And he was just thinking about, what are the chances that I have my second copy of Rikuma Racer Gun in hand? Like, they're non-existent. Like, what are the chances that I have another Rikuma Racer Gun in my hand when I've already played one for the game? Dude, I had all 3 of them in my hand. I was just so ready for him to just fucking screw up his entire turn, and he did it. And you guys might be thinking, well, he should have just swung the leader first, or not the leader, he should have just swung the Jiren first, or maybe you're even thinking, oh, he should have just activated main on the leader and then did that first, just to get the card that way. Both of those are terrible plays, and here's why. If you had actually played this Jiren and then activated this Jiren like he did, well, if you swing this Jiren first, you don't have the extra card to combo higher than an opponent that has 11 cards in hand. You don't know what my 11 cards might be, so for all you know, there are huge combo cards, and a lot of them, and you just lose if you do this. So you need to sculpt your hand, so you have to do this, and then you lose to Rikuma Racer Gun. Simply lose to it, alright? If you had done it the other way, where you simply say, okay, I'm going to activate main now, and then give Quad Strike, and then go ahead and swing at the opponent with this card, with Quad Strike, and draw the card that way, that's fantastic. But look what you just did. You warped all of your Universe 11 cards from your drop area, which means that you really can't even cast this guy for 6 anymore, can you? So you have to play the Jiren before you actually activate the leader. And then by doing that, you're just, by design, trying to draw more cards to win with the Jiren or the other Jiren. And that right there is the perfect opportunity for me to say Rokuma Racer Gun, and then just beat you. So this card simply beats the deck by design. Like, the way the Jiren deck is designed to be played loses to Rokuma Racer Gun almost always. Like, it's very hard for the Jiren deck to play around this card. So, yet again, another deck that just straight up loses to Rokuma Racer Gun. And this would have too if I got any Roshis or Shens early game. But yeah, so those were my matchups today. It was huge for me. There was a lot of play potential and outplay potential that I had with this list, and the metagame right now is just getting stomped by a deck like this. So if you guys are trying to play Dragon Ball Super and you're trying to beat the metagame right now, consider some number of the cards that you see in front of you on my side of the table, and then consider actually playing those cards in your next local event or even at a PPG big event, because this is a strong deck list and there's just so much outplay potential that you have access to when you play a list like this. They're not going to be able to anticipate what your plays are. It wins the best of 1 format almost always, and it sometimes wins the best 2 out of 3 simply because no one has time to finish the game 2 because you're negating everything that they do. So you steal the game 1 and then you just go to time on game 2 and you win that way. Or potentially that doesn't happen and then it's a draw. So either way, a win or a draw, you should take it. So this deck is really good at winning best of 1 and best of 3, and the side deck potential that this deck has is pretty up there. I'm pretty confident that I actually did put the side deck together, but I've made some tweaks. As you can see, it's definitely more than 15 cards. So basically, some side deck opportunities you have that you could be playing are some minus killie zones to really make sure your Vegeta doesn't get cold bloodlusted, because that did lose me a game against Frieza Resurrected Emperor. He went cold bloodlust on my Vegeta and I simply lost because of that, right? So that sucks. So you could play the killie zone in the main, which I originally was, but I took it out for another Goten. Fun fact, because I really like the Goten as a 3F. And so you could do that. You could run more Bad Ring Lasers in the side deck. You could be running Beerus Universe 7 Vanquisher. You could be running this new promo card that you get from playing any local event now this month. This is the promo that you get. Crisis Crusher is really strong for like aggro decks. You don't really need this card, but it's just in there as a funsy card. Obviously, the third or fourth copy of Bad Ring Laser would be pretty nice. Time Magic is really strong. You can put those in. I would definitely recommend playing 2 to 4 copies of Time Magic. Crusher Ball is also a solid option for you. You could definitely run a couple of Crusher Balls. You can see I think there's 3 copies of Crusher Ball. And then your 4th at all cost Vegeta in the deck, because why not? And then of course, you know, if you want to just get fancy, you can have more negates. You play enough Saiyans in the deck to actually run this card as a negate. And fun fact, if your deck list actually runs the Gogetas, which this list does, fancy that. If you're running the Gogetas at all, then that's a really strong Goku for you to use. I'll show you what I'm talking about as soon as I get all these Gogetas out. So this Goku is a 20k Goku. Your win condition is a 20k Vegeta. So yeah, you could play any power Gokus and Vegetas, but they have to be the same power. Well, the best card to complement the Vegeta that you're using in the main deck is a 20k Goku. And the best 20k Goku to use is this one, because not only is it a very cheap negate for you that works quite well with your deck, with the synergy of your deck, but also it's 20k Goku, so you can simply pitch it and the at all cost Vegeta to play the Gogeta with the Union Fusion, that mechanic that you have. So for 5 energy, which is built into the deck, your deck is designed to play with 5 energy. So if you side deck in these Gokus and this extra Vegeta, then you have a completely new win condition that they did not expect for the game 2. So you could simply do that. So your game 2 could simply just be Gogeta, go to 3 cards. I'm going to tap 3, I'm going to play Gogeta, you're going to drop your hand size down to 3. I really hope you kept 3 really good cards, because here's a 30k triple striker coming at you, man. And I have combo power on the ass, because I just added all these other combo cards to my deck. So just another really cool trick that you have access to. If you want to maybe tweak the deck for step 5, you can throw in these Gogetas, and that's just really fancy. Fun fact, if you really want to play Gogeta, I would recommend playing 15k Gokus and Vegetas because there are a lot more choices to choose from that are 15k cards as opposed to 20, but I will stand by my word when I say that the best 20k Vegeta in the game for you to play in a deck like this is this one, so you have to run a 20k Goku, and the best 20k Goku is probably this one. Alright, so that's what I would do to play the Gogeta if you want to just kind of doomsday them on game 2 and just like maybe tweak your entire list to where it's not even anything remotely similar to what it was before. You could just shit on them with that strategy instead. But anyway, that's it for me. That's it for this video. That's the side deck options that you have available. Obviously, you need to cut it down to 15. Should be quite easy to do just that. You can make tweaks, obviously. Expect some metagame in the realm of, you know, set 5 stuff plus, you know, some tweaks on some set 4 stuff with some set 5 cards added. That's going to be the metagame right now. And so those are the matches I played against tonight. Did really well against them. This deck is very strong. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the video here. Hopefully we can show you guys a new list next week. It's probably going to be another SS4 and some matches, some information about some matches, some matchups that I had with that SS4 list on the following week. And that'll probably be what you can look forward to next week. Until then, guys, thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I will be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace out.